Hey guys! Surprise, surprise! I'm coming up with another video! In like 3 weeks of time, I've uploaded 3 videos? What's wrong with me? Anyways, I actually recorded this video a while back in January, and then it has just been sitting in my computer for almost 3 months because I was just too lazy to edit the video. And I was like, okay, it's almost April. It's already April, so I just decided to edit this out. So this video, as the title suggests, is gonna be how I update slash make my wish list. Um, Now that I recorded it and edited it, I feel like a lot of these are just common sense, but I don't want to delete my video. So here you guys go. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! So you really just need one really good photo editing website or software to create your wish list. The website that I'm using is Canva, and this website helps me to create a lot of other things too, not only just wish list, but also my profile picture, the icons from my highlight, or even the photo cards, which we will get into later. There are other softwares or websites that you can use as well, but Canva has been helping me since then because it's very user-friendly and it's free. This video is not sponsored by Canva, but Canva, if you're watching, please sponsor me, thanks. So step 1 is to decide what photo cards you want to put onto the wish list. This step is very simple, but it's also very crucial. For most of us, the photo cards that we put onto the wish list are just the ones that we are collecting, but it's important to know how many there are so we can determine the layout of the wish list. There are also some of us that want to put every photo cards available onto the wish list, sort of like a Pokédex style, so we can track the progress. Since this is your own wish list, it's really just up to you of what you want to put onto the wish list. Now moving on to step 2, which is to determine the layout of the wish list. This step is already I kind of already mentioned it before, but it's also important because it determines how many pictures and the photo cards you're gonna put on the one row, and also the size, like how big they're going to be. Some people do this by eras and some by priority. It doesn't really matter as long as it's easy to understand. As for me, I make my wish list by the categories of the photo cards and then by era. So I would put a box indicating what era this is, and then I put all the equivalent relevant photo cards under. As for how many photo cards to put each row, I usually just eyeball it, so the amount of the photo cards I put each row usually varies. But you're definitely encouraged to plan them out more accurately. I just feel too lazy to do that. I also like to scale the photo cards a bit so I know like what type of pocket sleeves I need to use. Then moving on to step 3, which is to find good images of those photo cards. There are many methods where you could find quality images of the photo cards, and here are the 4 main ways that I use. So method 1 is to find existing scans of the photo cards. This method provides you with the best quality of the photo cards, but the downside of this is that since there are already existing scans, that means these photo cards have been existing for a while. And most of us use Wishlist to update photo cards that are just coming out or even before they come out, so this method would not be effective. As for good scans, I can't really speak for other fandoms, but for TXT _scans on Twitter provides a very quality scan, and every TXT collector should go check them out if you haven't already. So for method 2, I usually find good images from buying or trading websites or apps such as Mercari Japan or Twitter. This method also has a time lag, meaning that the photo cards must have been existing for it to be sold or traded on those websites, but you would usually be able to get it faster to find those decent images than just waiting for people to scan it. But the other downside of this is that although I will be crediting all the original scanners in my wish list, like I will say it, I still feel like I'm stealing something from them, so I don't usually use this method too often anymore. Moving on to method 3, you can also screenshot the previews of the photo cards. Since most companies would provide a preview of what the photo cards are going to look like, we can just take a screenshot of them and add them to your wish list. Some downsides of this method are these previews are almost always blurred or have watermarks on them, so they are not the perfect scans or images, but it will do the job. But another downside of this is that some photo cards previews don't come with individual previews, but usually just a stack of them. And if the preview is provided this way, it would be a little less effective. And that brings us to method 4, which is to DIY the photo cards. This is another method that I often use. I can't really speak for other fandoms, but so far for TXT, a lot of the original images of the photo cards are provided to us beforehand, either in concept photos or selfies that each member uploads to like Twitter or Weverse or other platforms. By finding these sources, you can get very quality images of the photo cards, and it will be very effective for some of the photo cards that only previews are provided. So what I'm doing right now is that I go wherever they provide the original images, I download them and then upload them to Canva or other equivalent website or softwares, and then I add any additional things that they add onto it. In this case, it's the text of their names. I also use this to create some badges or stickers. Both of these came out a while ago, but since they are not photo cards, it's rarer for people to sell them, let alone to find a good image of them. The only two downsides of this are that it might be a little time consuming. Actually, scratch that, it will be very time consuming, especially if there are additional tags or like other things. And the other downside is that you can only do this if the original images are provided to you. So give or take, these 4 methods are usually the 4 common ones that I use. Alternatively, you can also just upload a blank image if none of these methods work. Normally, this will work as fine if you have a description of what the photo cards are, but I think it would be prettier and more effective if there's something visual right there. Now that we have covered the most few difficult steps, the remaining ones are just easy peasy. So for step 4, you really just need to upload the images that you find and then copy and paste them onto your wish list. The step is very self-explanatory, so it's pretty straightforward. And then lastly, for step 5, which is to decorate the wish list to make it your wish list. The step is optional, but I feel like it is what makes it your wish list. Decorate it, go all the way out, make it as cute as it can be, and there you have it. This is your own wish list. As for updating the wish list, I would rather just do it on the website or like other equivalent softwares, since updating them directly on Instagram stories can get annoying from time to time. But that's another common method that other collectors use. So what I do is that I create a box and have it colored white, and then I decrease the transparency so that they are shaded to all the photo cards that I own or I recently just collected. You could probably do the same on their equivalent website or software using like highlighters. And that's it. That's how I create and upload my wish list. Now that I have written out the script and basically just recorded myself updating my recent wish list, I realized that most of these are just common sense, more or less, but I still want to share it in case it's helpful for any of you guys. And I will also be leaving my template / my wish list below for any TXT collectors that might need them. Also, the sunset is just really pretty outside, and I was like, wow, the golden hour. What if their next comeback is golden hour instead of blue hour? Or for Miniso 2?